is a new segment that we have come up with. My name is Dan, and this is Josh. We are true digital enthusiasts and at the same time digital community managers. And we decided to sit down and have a talk about stuff that covers digital life, entrepreneurship, and things like that. So we are part of this very first episode, which we are calling Conversations with Dan and Josh. And for today's episode, we are just talking about digital communications in the COVID times. Now, we are aware that we are in very trying times, and a lot of things have changed, and a lot of things are still going to change. And then for brands and for companies and for organizations that are still operating in this time, it is very key for them to communicate effectively. And most of these communications are happening in the digital space. So we decided to sit down and have a conversation about how brands can remain relevant with their communications during these COVID times. How can they continue to communicate effectively and still remain relevant to the people that they're communicating to during these trying times and also probably after. So I'll let Josh jump in at this point in time and just take us through what kind of organizations are there, what kind of brands are there, what are the different types of stuff that brands can talk about.
Yeah.
Josh, what's up?
So I'm ready.
All right.
Yeah. So basically, of course, this time has brought certain businesses to kind of adjust. Some are not actually looking at digital as a core or as a priority. They were going about their own business. Money was flowing in, and you can't blame them. I mean, yes, it's not our core. It's very few businesses can actually manage to sell online, even though it's a great avenue to reach their audiences. But in this time, then it has become more of a priority, and it's a sign that actually digital will be more crucial for a business or an entrepreneur in the coming years. So whether it's a service business or whether it's a product business, whether you're a freelancer, so whatever business you're providing, consultation, others are working remotely. So working remotely is actually not new. Why for others?
New territories.
It's been crazy.
It's been crazy.
Yeah. So I know when I was talking with Dan, for me, I think what fascinates me is the service, because I think for service brands, it then means they have to figure out how to provide or bring their service conveniently to the user or to the audience. So meaning how easy is it to attain their service, or maybe subscribe for a book, attain music, or get internet, or all these things. Some have gone for apps, others have gone for custom platforms that are personalized. Others have kept it to WhatsApp, and certain just one-to-one interfacing, which is much more intimate. And other social media platforms have worked for different service companies, and as always, believe depth is always better than width. So as much as you have all these platforms at your disposal, you have to figure out in this time where your audience actually is. And yes, and for Dan is a product guy. Dan likes Dan is the nigga who orders food.
Yeah, in a way, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, even before I jump to the products, I think for the services, it's key for service providers to know that right now where people are unable to move because of the lockdown, it's good for you to find alternative ways for people to access your services.
Yeah.
If you're a bank, if guys cannot walk over to the branches, do you have mobile banking services? Can they do this stuff online? If you're a store that sells stuff, or you I don't know, you provide consultation services, can you then have meetings online? Can you have meetings over Zoom or over Google Meet or whatever other platform that you're using? Ideally, the thing for service providers is, can you provide alternatives for people during this time to access
yes,
your services?
to access with less convenience.
Yeah, more convenience. Yes, that one.
Yes,
With more convenience. Yes.
So yeah. So which means then how then? How? So there are many alternatives, and as I said, it comes down to what resonates with your business. Some need technical aspects which you might not have, so you work around what works for you and understanding your users so that you provide the most convenient way for them to access your service.
Yeah, very true. And then for those guys that provide products, for the product based businesses, the norm has been, you have this one place where people come to and they can pick the product in exchange for money. Now that people are in order to move, the next, the most viable thing right now is how do you then move your product over to them, and how do you communicate that effectively?
Yeah.
Of course, the most obvious way to do it is delivery services. So many couriers that are operating right now, which you can tap into, and then your communication becomes uh, uh, telling people how they can then tap into these platforms and have your products delivered to them.
Yeah.
Now, for those that are not able to have their own delivery services, there's so many other platforms that you can partner with, so many online stores that you can partner with, that then enable you to use their resources to take your products from your stores or from your warehouse over to people's houses, and that then becomes what you communicate, how best people can access your product, how your product can then be brought over to them, to their doorsteps. The thing here is convenience. Yeah, people are unable to move, so you need to make your service or your product conveniently accessible. So when it comes to communications, those are the ideas that you need to pick up on to be relevant, and that does not stop us from also sharing other messages like um, empathy, or offering entertainment value, because there are so many different people of different age groups that are on social media
Yeah.
currently.
So you need to relate with them.
Exactly, you need to relate with them.
And even still on the product aspect, it's important to not lose your product representation as you're partnering with whatever courier or whatever way you're figuring out to get the product to. You still have to maintain that touch, that uniqueness, from the packaging to how you handle clients. So that means you don't just haphazardly make a decision. You have to plan it. You have to plan the partner. You have to engage them and they understand how you do your thing, so that then they can still best represent. Because it doesn't make sense if someone orders for your product and it's not dressed, it's just delivered as is, because still customers still love good things, and they love being valued. So don't think because of the hard times, yeah, you cut the slack and just do what you please. You still have to be at the top of your game. If it's more cost wise, then indicate that in the cost implication, so that the customer knows. Maybe if they need added packaging, if they need uh, maybe faster delivery, if they need to take it to another location, factor in those things and then communicate them beforehand. And that's the great thing about social, because or digital comms, is you able to communicate beforehand, so that once someone opts in, they actually know the nature of the engagement they're having. Don't be transparent. Right now it's transparency, and because if one person has a great experience, they're more likely to refer and then use you as a repeat brand of business. So it's important to, this is a time to actually maintain and indirectly recruit new audiences, so that even after the lockdown, or even a year from now, you've actually made an impact and people appreciate that. Even when you are low on staff, you are still on your A game. Even when you collaborate with another brand, they still felt your presence. So it's important. Yes, it's very, 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 very
Yeah, very important.
important.
Very important.
Yeah.
And you brought up a very interesting thing about post-COVID times.
Yeah.
Yeah? Or not just post-COVID, but post-lockdown. The one thing I think we can all agree on is COVID is here for a while. COVID is here for a while. We're not exactly sure when the pandemic will end. However, we can be optimistic that the lockdown, is going to be lifted at some point.
Yeah.
It will be lifted at some point. So I think we also need to now look into how do brands prepare for that time. Yeah, I think that's something that brands should add into their communication. They should not be afraid to speak about times after the lockdown. Yeah, what can people expect after lockdown? will they expect to still be around? Yeah, when you communicate and share some plans about things that you expect to do after lockdown, or you tell people that, hey, when all this is over, we are still going to be here for you. It shows that you've thought about your customers and your business beyond the hardships.
Yes.
It also assures them that you plan on staying around, continue serving them for a very long time.
And it's okay if it's bad news too. You
Yeah.
can tell them we've closed some branches, so
Mhm.
that then people are well informed ahead of time, so that they're not frustrated to count on you in certain aspects that you can not actually deliver on those. It's not always good news.
I mean, yeah, good news is not always there all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah. So
Exactly.
which is it's tough for business owners, but yes, it's again transparency even ahead of the lockdown. It's tell them you're there, tell them how they can now access, tell them maybe if you have any promos or any rewards, any new products, varying with the times, the lessons you've learned. What were the lessons? Because some audiences also want to understand, how have you coped?
Yeah.
How have you coped?
Mhm,
How did you manage it? It's a great way to actually engage and communicate with the audiences. Some will appreciate the fact that you care about your employees first. You care about the customers, the current customers. If maybe someone subscribed already for a service or a product, but you can't get it to them, did you maintain the credit points or something like that? Or it's just, bro, sorry, because so such communications are great, so that I know, yeah, I can resume and still benefit. If I
Yeah.
had 100 points, can I still order, or did the system shut down with COVID?
That would be bad. That would be bad.
Yeah,
That would be very bad.
then say it earlier. Don't wait for the guy to arrive and he presents a card and you're like, bro, sorry. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's me. Yeah.
Yeah. So ideally, currently in these times, for brands to remain relevant, for them to effectively communicate on social media and on all these other platforms, I think what we can pick out from this is, one, if you're in the service business, communicate alternatives.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do people access your services in different ways from what they were doing or how they're accessing them before the lockdown? If you have a product, if you sell or manufacture a product, communicate how people can have that product brought over to them at their homes, at their doorsteps, and basically be transparent. Look at your target audience and try and understand what messages would resonate best with them. Is it empathy? Is it information? Is it some entertainment value? Because now that people can no longer go out, people bring the entertainment in if they cannot go out and get it.
Tap into the life of your customer.
Exactly.
Beyond just your business approach, beyond just consuming or buying. You can talk about a quote, a book, a party, dieting, exercise, the barber you recommend after COVID. It's really this guy.
Yeah, I need a barber. Yes, that. Yeah, if no one, please recommend.
Yeah, you can look at maybe certain advice that you can give to an employee or employer. So it comes down to other value addition other than just the product, but yet, wisely embedding your brand in there, so that you can give an example of how you have actually approached it. How have you managed, even after lockdown? Will everyone come back to work, or will you do it in phases, and why? So it shows, so it sets a milestone, so they're like, oh, so even other business owners, for cases of B2B, can actually decide to consume with you because they have seen how you manage certain things. So
that definitely comes into help. And then, of course, finally, let us not be afraid to look beyond the lockdown. Can your messages show that you're thinking about your customers and your employees beyond the lockdown period, when all this is done? And we are very, very hopeful that this will definitely get done. So when all this is done, will your business still be available? Will you still be there to serve people? Will your product still be there to make people happy, to satisfy their needs? Basically, that's that. Let us not be afraid. Do not be afraid to think beyond the lockdown period.
Yeah.
And just like that, those are the few tips that, from my experience, our experiences, we believe this is how brands can remain relevant. They can communicate effectively on social media and on all other platforms that they communicate during these COVID times. So if you find this conversation interesting, if you'd like to see more of this, if you have any ideas that you'd like us to
Or
tackle,
comments,
comments,
feedback.
exactly,
Yeah.
comments, feedback, we appreciate all that.
Yeah.
When we share this, please do leave a comment, whichever platform you find this on, and just let us know. Yeah, just let us know. Would you like us to continue with this? And I will be glad to comply. So, thank you for listening. We hope this helps you and your business,
Yeah.
or whatever other business you'd like to start,
Yeah.
now or in the future. And have yourselves a good day.
Adios.
Bye.